Oh, hello, hello. All right, I'm back. We just experienced some technical difficulties just a moment ago. But again, this is Daryl Andrews, the workforce development motivator, consultant. Do a lot of work in workforce development and education. And it's truly an honor to get a chance to do the work that I do. I've been doing this work for a long time. Many people remember my first book that came out many years ago entitled How to Find Your Passion and Make a Living at It. And, but since that time, we've written several books trying to help people as far as employment, pursuing purpose, things of that nature. We've been doing it in schools and school districts and workforce organizations, job seekers all over the country. And since that time, I've written some more books. Another book is titled Reinvention, The Pathway to Job Search Success. And this book has helped a lot of people as far as reinventing themselves, which is important right now in society. And one of my original books that still kind of has some legs is this book entitled The Purpose Living Teen, A Teen's Guide to Living Your Dreams, which we've helped, hundreds of thousands of young people. Oh, man, we've been in front of so many young people. So these are just a few of my other books: The Purpose Living Teen, A Teen's Guide to Living Your Dreams, and Reinvention, The Pathway to Job Search Success. So, but I'm coming on to share something that's probably going to be a little controversial because we are living in some unprecedented times. But I get a chance as a result of my work to interact with a lot of workforce development professionals all over the United States of America, and even outside of the United States into some of the islands and places like that, and even up into Canada. And so in the United States, I can't speak for the other places, but in the United States, we're blessed to be in a country that when crisis hits, there's a response to it, which means that we get help. A lot of people complain about our country, and I get it. There's some challenges here, but one thing you cannot say is that they don't help their people, because when this pandemic hit, the government unleashed billions of dollars into the marketplace to help people with everything from homes to food to clothing, all these different things. And so, some people want to just complain all the time, and I get it. I'm not trying to start a war as far as complaining, if that's what a person wants to do. But the reality of it is, I know people in other countries that don't have what we have. There's people that are starving in countries because they don't have government assistance like we have. Kids that are starving because they don't have it. People who have lost a lot of homes. But one of the benefits that the government kicked in is that they, allowing for unemployment. A lot of the workforce development departments of labor in each state were flooded with the last couple of months of claims for unemployment. I mean, in the little state I live in, I think they were upwards. I think you get 5,000 in a year, and it was upwards of what? I think 85,000 people that filed for unemployment. So that's a lot of people, man. So that's why this topic is going to be both motivational yet challenging. Because I think it's important for people, as I speak to people throughout the country and all the different states, and conversations I'm having with, workforce leaders and workforce development leaders and organizations that my company is contracted to work with. There's a phenomenon that's taking place that I just want to try and encourage people to think about, because the support is there and because the finances are there because of government intervention. It can cause a person to kind of get comfortable in that mode. Comfortable in, I got this check coming in, comfortable in, I'm making pretty good money, probably the equivalent of what I lost when I lost employment. And so there's a comfort level there. And so I'm in the process. One of the big things we're doing a lot of is this whole process of reinvention and even transformation. Some of you know the work that we're attempting to do with Jay McGowan and rebranding. And I've been away on vacation, so I'm gonna reconnect with Jay in a day or so. But we're gonna get that moving a little bit more to help people look at transforming themselves, transforming their lives. And what I'm trying to encourage people to do with this particular stream is to think about, okay, this pandemic hit, it's been a challenge. Employment has been, my job was eliminated. There may be a chance that it'll start up again. There may be a chance it won't. But get people to take charge, man. Take charge. Don't get so comfortable with the money that I'm not thinking 5 or 6 months out, when the money is gone. One thing I've been sharing with a lot of the professionals I've been interacting with was this. This is the best time to give it 100% job search effort or build my business or whatever it is, because what's going to happen when all the dollars run out, as far as, these different benefits that we're getting, is you're going to have a mad rush of people trying to figure out how they're going to find the employment or find whatever it is. And I don't want to be in the mad rush. I would rather be positioned prior to, by looking at, okay, what's my job search plan? What's my goals? If I'm reinventing, what's the new area of reinvention I want to go in? Many of you know that I partner with Fit First Technologies, and we got Jobtimize. And, do I want to do Jobtimize and do that AI technology to see if there's some other job fits? If you want some information, reach out to me about that, because I can connect you with all of that. But the point I'm making is simply this. Don't sit and wait for, all of my benefits to run out and all of that to now scramble. Think now. Sit down. Put your plan together. What is it that I want? What is the life that I want? What is the, outcome that I want? What's the direction I want to go in? Don't, we've been comfortable for a while now. It's time to come up out that comfort and say, man, what's next? What's next? And I'm saying this because I'm speaking to professionals throughout the country, and you're hearing all of this, people are just comfortable and people just want to take it easy. And listen, I get that. I mean, I who doesn't want this? We've all been through so much stress. But I'm probably a little bit, because I'm a motivator. So my job is to motivate and to inspire people to go, kind of go for the gold, and then try to start thinking about what is the possibilities for my life despite the current situation. And some of you heard this story and some of you have not. And I'm going to share you my story as to how I handled all of this. A lot of people say, well, you don't understand because you didn't lose your job like I did. Well, let me explain what did happen. So back in February and March when the COVID hit, some of you have heard this before, but I'm gonna share it again. I own a meetings type business. I'm speaking and training, consulting and coaching and all that kind of stuff. And so back in February and March when this first hit, I was actually sitting with a customer, a state agency, and we were talking about this training we're going to do in this series of training. And then all of a sudden in the meeting, I was told, wait a minute, I just got an email from the governor where they're looking at the possibility of shutting down the state agencies. And I was thinking, what's he talking about? Because this was all new and all fresh. And I said, state agency shutting down. What's this? And then she said, I'll reach out to you on Monday, coach, and we'll talk about this. Yeah, we'll talk about this. Thank you, Philip. Appreciate that, man. I hope all is well with you and your family. I really do, man. Miss seeing you guys. And so she said, and so she calls me that Monday and she said, well, we're going to have to postpone things. I said, postpone what? Postpone what? And then next, that week, I mean, call after email after call, people were, slicing this and dicing that, and we can't contract with you no more. And when the smoke cleared at the end of that week, I lost 90% of my business. Listen to what I'm saying, 90%. So don't tell me, like you said, well, you don't understand, coach. Oh, yes, I do. I do understand. I know what it's like to lose everything. I lost it so fast. It just slipped. All these conference keynotes, 15 keynote speeches, consulting projects galore, training projects galore. Man, we're rocking the house. We're putting it out and then shut it down. And so I jokingly tell people I did the Netflix and root beer thing for about a week. A little bit depressed about what was going on. And then I start thinking about, what do I teach people? What do I teach people? And so I said, you know what, man, put the root beer up, turn off Netflix. It's time to get busy. I said, I'm reinventing myself. I wrote this book, Reinvention, The Pathway to Job Search Success. I'm reinventing myself. Man, I ain't looking for nothing. I'm bringing the coach out of me now. I'm not looking for nothing. I'm going to figure this thing out, and I am going to change this circumstances. And anybody that's a part of my crew, because we got a dream team out here. Pierre Campbell, some of you know about him. Rachel Revel, who's one of the greatest time management trainers. We all came together, and this is what we said. I'm gonna give you something bold that we said. We said we're gonna come out of this pandemic better than we were going into it. Words have power. Look up that quote by Gandhi when he talks about words. It's one of the most powerful quotes. You see them saying? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the Texas Tech. That's right. I go to Lubbock on business all the time. So if you bring me to your area on business, I'll wear your cap. Lubbock is them are peeps because they bring me there quite often to work and train people. Thank you, Randy. And so I said, man, this thing is not taking us down. We're going for it. So I contacted my webmaster. I contacted all my social media, everything. Scrap anything that says live. Get rid of all of it. We're going fully virtual. Everything. Training, coaching, name it. Fully virtual. I mean, websites, social media, clean it up. And then I noticed something that was interesting. I noticed that everybody was canceling these conferences because I know I was booked to speak at 15 of them over like a 3 or 4 month period. Then they're calling me, sorry, coach, we can't work. I said, what? And I started saying to myself, and then I got a little upset. I said, man, everybody running away from the storm, man, leaders run into it. Leaders find ways to innovate. Leaders find ways to make things happen when it's difficult. Now, this is how I think. I'm not faulting anybody. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm not trying to say anything negative about people who cancel conferences. I'm just telling you how I think and how I train people when I'm working with folks. We got to think differently. We can't let things hit us and then we shut down. So I said, you know what? I'm planning my own conference. I said, we can do a virtual conference. So I created the first ever. If you're interested in this and you have a workforce development staff, it doesn't just have to be workforce development. It could be anybody working in the job marketplace. We said we're going to create the first ever virtual workforce development motivation conference. And we're talking about success in the midst of COVID-19. And to my surprise, we packed that conference out within a 3-week period. We now have that on there are now videos to that conference. If anybody wants, your team leads in a little motivation, reach out to me because we got it on Thinkific. You can sign your people up. People loved it. They looked and said, man, you just did a conference online. You streamed stuff to YouTube and they were in breakout sessions and all of that. They like, how did you do that? I said, because I refused to remain the same. I decided to innovate. And I'm not depending on anybody. I'm going to carve my own way. And so we started doing that. And then we started talking about the virtual programs that we're offering. And we put that information out there and said, man, let's put it out there. Let's just put it out there. We got the experience. I'm not a flash in the pan. I'm not just doing this out of the wind. We've been doing this stuff for 20 years. I said, so it's the knowledge, the insight, the wisdom is there. We're not somebody just making something up. We've been doing this stuff. We just decided to do it in a different way. We decided to reinvent. And then within a 2-month period, I started looking at my calendar and I started asking myself the question, wow, I went from nothing a couple months ago to stuff we train I just got done with 3 or 4 trainings. We train all day long virtually. Why am I saying this? Not to brag, not to do any of that. I'm trying to say because I decided it's time to take control of my future. It's good to get an unemployment check if you can get it. It's nice because you got to take care of your family. But I'm telling people, don't just rest on that. Can y'all hear me when I'm saying on this? I hope y'all can feel me. Don't just rest on an unemployment check. Find a way to get out there and bring your value to the marketplace. Because companies are hiring. You got virtual jobs, you got live jobs, you got all kinds of stuff. People are hiring. And if we constantly are just remaining comfortable And I don't want to give it my best effort, or I don't want to try the job search. Why would I want to sit home and just, I mean, I'm the kind of person I like contributing. So I don't just want to sit home and do nothing, but just collect a check. Take my gifts and contribute, my gifts in management, or my gifts in leadership, or my gifts in customer service, or my gifts in something, and go contribute, because the opportunities are there. And then also, it's important to understand the current status of where we are is not going to be there forever. So I'm saying this because I got colleagues in all the states, and I'm always on the phone with some of them in different parts of the country. And we're talking about this. I said, man, we got to get folks motivated to go out and find the jobs, man. They're there. Look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn has hundreds of thousands of jobs, and a lot of people don't even like to have a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is one of the greatest networking tools if you do it right. It's not a spamming tool for those who are out there, because I can't stand the spam. But it is a great networking tool to be able to network into employment and business opportunities. I've gotten quite a bit of work off of LinkedIn. And so it's important to understand that that check has a purpose, but that is not your end all. You know what I mean? The government can only give out so much money over time. They don't have an endless supply. And so the thing we got to understand is, now, what do I want? What do I want to accomplish? What are my dreams? What are my goals? What are my ambitions? One thing I'm loving is we're doing a lot of training, man. I'm loving it. I'm interacting with a lot of dislocated workers that are trying to find jobs, displaced in the industry. It's called displaced workers, but it's just basically people that are unemployed. We've been doing a lot with the workforce youth. We're starting to do a lot with the youth in work, as far as different, like, what do you call it, CTE. We've definitely been doing a lot with vocational rehabilitation. And I'm honored to say I just was invited to be a keynote speaker at the National Vocational Rehabilitation Conference. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here, but our message is very consistent, very consistent. And that is for me to empower people to take charge of their futures. Not for us to depend on people to do whatever, but to take charge. And so if I'm just comfortable behind that check, I'm not taking charge. It's okay to get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to down you for it. What I am saying is, look at your life over the next few months and get a plan of action. What's your strategy? If you lost a job and you've been on the job for 30 years, what skill sets do you need to possess now? Maybe it's getting more education, taking advantage of some of the free courses that the various states are offering now for, people who are job seekers. A lot of states got the money from the CARES Act, and now they're implementing it with online courses and coaching courses. I've been a beneficiary because some of the states have been contracting us to come in and do these programs for them. But the reality of the matter is, you got to be the one to take charge of this thing. You got to be the one. And so I'm saying, as I get ready to conclude, have a vision for what you want to do with your life. Have a vision for a new career path that you want to go down. Start writing down some of the goals and objectives that you want. Start writing down some of the obstacles that could prohibit you from getting there. Start writing down some of the people that you can be accountable to. All right. And these are things that are necessary in order for us to reinvent and go down a new pathway. And I'm sharing this not as a person that's a outside looking in. I'm on the inside looking out. Man, I do this work all the time. Literally countless people every single week. And I'm excited to see how people are coming in depleted a little bit because of the stress of what took place during this pandemic, and walking away from these workshops feeling like they're ready to take on the world. Because you give me an hour of your time, you're going to take on the world, because that's how I roll. I don't shortchange, and I'm bringing relevant experience and knowledge, not just somebody just getting everybody fired up. Anybody can do that, but you need to know how to position your resume. You got to know how to interview that sets you apart from everybody else. You can't just, there's a process. You got to know where that resume has to be positioned in such a way that's going to give you an advantage over people. You got to understand emotional intelligence and how to be position yourself from an emotional intelligence perspective so that you can sell that to an employer as a culture enhancer. There's so many things that we're not thinking about that you got to look at, that experts, and if you're an expert, this stuff. You got to know how to, when you're interviewing, show that company that you bring so much value. You need to know about your transferable skill sets that you may have learned not on the job, but you may have learned it through volunteerism. You may have learned it through your home experience. I tell people of my neighbor who was an engineer who said enough of this, enough is enough, but he used to always tinker with cars. Now he owns a shop. He owns a shop. He said, I'm not doing engineering anymore. I'm opening my own shop. Now he has a shop with employees and probably making more money than he did when he was an engineer. So what I'm trying to say is take charge. Take charge of your future. Take charge of your dreams. Take charge of your goals and write that stuff down and repeat those words that you have over yourself every day. Don't be like everybody else. There's so many people right now that's become complacent. I'm just going to be honest with you. Just become complacent. Not giving it their best, not trying their hardest, not going for it because they're comfortable. And if I can say this before I go, turn that doggone Netflix off. Stop binging. Get up and go interview. Get up and put together a plan of action. Get up and work on that business plan. You know, because the reality of the matter is you ain't got forever. And you want to set, you know, that's it. That's it. Write it down. Come on, Oscar. Talk to us, man. That's right. Because if not, you listen, you know, one thing I said in the middle of this pandemic, I tell people, you're going to think I'm crazy, but that's just the way we roll. I tell people, this is a great opportunity, man. Okay, you got 6 months, you're going to get paid. What about that business you've always said you want to start? What about that book you've said you've always want to write? You going to watch Netflix? You're going to be writing the book? I mean, come on, y'all. Like some of us don't even have to go do all the running around we used to do, volunteering for this, doing that. You can't volunteer. You're in your house. Nothing but time. This is the time to take charge. You know, if I seem passionate about this because I'm speaking in all these states and I'm speaking to all these leaders and they're saying, man, we got to get people just seem to be like complacent. And I'm trying to tell you, this is not the time. You may never have a time like this in your life where you have so much time to take and pursue the things you've always wanted to pursue. Even again, this is this book, Reinvention. I'm doing this stuff with I got teenagers so fired up because I'm telling them, listen, now is not the time to go on video games 24/7. Man, sit down and study people that you admire. Purpose Living Teen. Teens Guide to Living Your Dreams. How did they pursue what it is that they wanted to pursue? All you sitting around here playing TikTok and all. Who started those companies? They have dreams. You're helping them fulfill their dreams. This is a time for you to fulfill yours. Yes, I love Instagram. Yes, I love all those things. But what are you going to do with your time? When is somebody going to look at your Instagram? Y'all say this guy is crazy. But this is how I get people on point because I don't compromise. I tell folks, we got to stop playing with our time. We got to stop playing with our life and stop waiting for everyone and anyone to do something for us. It comes a time where I got to start doing it for myself. You know what I mean? And so I hope that this information was helpful. Let's get from behind those paychecks. We're hiding because we're comfortable with people. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but it's the truth. And I'm not trying to put down anybody's system. But when I was told, like as an independent contractor, you can apply and, you know, and get, you know, checks and all this kind of stuff I said, I ain't applying for nothing. I said, no, I'm not. And listen, that's me. I'm not saying you have to. I said, I got to force myself to stay on course. And so I don't want to get comfortable. And I didn't have to because I'd already started building my business up. But I wanted to get into the game and push myself and be accountable to my skill sets to be able to do. Now we got business coming from everywhere. And that's because I refused to acquiesce. I was determined to press forward. And I'm just trying to say to you, if you're getting a paycheck from the government because of the crisis, that's not going to be forever. And so you don't want to wait to the 900 million people that's going to be rushing out there 2 months trying to find something. Take advantage of the time right now. Because there's a lot of folks that's kind of in cruise control. And I hope after listening to this, a lot of folks won't be. But the reality of the matter is now is the time, right now. I know of employers that say they can't even find people because folks aren't applying. That's a shame to me. Wow. I just was talking to someone. They said that there's this employer in their area that needs like 25 people and can't find one. Tell me there's not work out there, and this is a good job too. And so go out there and go out for it. I know I'm a little bit radical in my approach, but I just believe that we live in a beautiful country with nothing but opportunity. And if we don't take advantage of the opportunity, that's on us. But don't allow comfort to sink in. Comfort produces apathy, and apathy produces a life none of us desire. And so go for it. Find your good accountability team, put your systems together, and watch some amazing things happen. But stop hiding behind that check. Get out here and make something happen. If you ever want to connect with me, inbox me on LinkedIn. A lot of you out there know I do training and consulting all over the country. We've been doing it for years. We do a lot of motivational type training too. I've been getting a lot of requests recently to do stuff around equity and motivational. The motivational aspect of it. I always tell people that's not a head issue. That's a heart issue. And until you get to people's heart, you can put anything you want in their heads. It's not going to change. It's got to get to the heart. And even when we're talking about what we're doing now with workforce development, it's got to get to the heart. I got to want this bad enough that I'm willing to put forth effort. So take care. And we'll be on, we're trying to get more on daily right now. And it's going to be a little easier because of the situation, and try to put some wisdom out there that's going to inspire people. But don't think that I'm here to placate. I'm here to challenge. Take care.